Hey everybody, welcome to our Minisode and Videosode. I hope you're enjoying us on YouTube also, but we're still on Apple Podcasts and we're also on Spotify. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about bold choices. It's an ongoing theme in my class. People want to know, how do I stand out in my self tapes, because now there's so many people self taping and auditioning. And most people somehow get confused with bold choices, just meaning let's go louder. That is
Mhm.
absolutely not what a
No.
bold choice is. I say, if you can, obviously do one straight. I always say do one straight and then think differently. Do something a little bit unexpected. An example would be, if you're in a funeral scene and you're crying and you start to laugh out of discomfort, that might be, if it's done in the moment, it might be a different kind of choice, which could be interesting. Or, somebody breaks up with you and you burst out laughing. That might be an interesting choice. It could be totally wrong, but it could be funny. And different. So that's
Yeah.
a different, unexpected choice. Jess, what do you think? And what have you seen with, people trying to do bold choices in those self tapes?
Yeah, I think it's such a good question. And also, shout out to Julia Borsellino who had sent in the question. So, also, if you guys have any other questions you want to ask us, let us know. And it made me think. I'm like, yeah, what are good bold choices? And then I just think about it to like, what are the best auditions? And it's really the auditions where people just make choices, not
Right.
big ones. Doesn't have to be big, huge decisions, but they commit to the choices that they make. And there's a confidence in that. And to me,
Right.
that's bold because I go back to how vulnerable it is to be an actor and
Yeah.
making a choice. You're saying, like, part of me, like, this is how part of me would react in this situation. And
Right.
it's putting that out there for judgment on, you know what I mean? Even though
Right.
we're not
Right.
judging
Yeah.
you, but like, it's like, yeah, this is how I would react in this situation. This is my interpretation of the situation. And to me, that's vulnerable. And to me, that's bold. And if you
Right.
commit to those choices and own the scene as if you are a real person in this real environment and you understand what the environment is, that confidence, that's what's bold to me. It's not making these grand gestures and, you know,
Right. Or
making
just
things
louder.
bigger or louder.
Right.
It's, to me, it's like the vulnerability and being true to the scene and showing, how you would react in a scene, because that's, we want to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree. That's like, commit and you're going to show up different because nobody has your life experience.
Yeah.
So if you let yourself shine through, it will shine through differently than everybody else. Um, but I also try to challenge my students to think a little differently, like make a
Yeah.
choice that wouldn't be the normal choice. I can give an example for when I went in for the bowl type, and it was a small role. Women were sort of standing up and confessing their what's happening with their vulvas. It was like an all women's meeting, and I jumped up in excitement and I said, "Sometimes when I laugh, I pee," and it was
Yeah.
happy. But it's funny, when we went, we all had to sort of jump up and say confessions about what happens. But I was excited about it, and of course, when I got the part and I went in to do it, and no, it was, the director directed me as would have been, I think, what most people went in with, hesitant, a little
Right.
hesitant, and go, "Hey, sometimes when I laugh, I pee," but that to me seemed like an obvious choice. So I thought, like, to be part of the gang with an excited choice, and I still think I probably got that. I might have got that part because I went in with a different
Yeah.
take on it. And then I came back and it was, they toned it down and just
For
made it what it
sure.
was.
But that's what's so important, is like, you committed to that delivery. And,
Committed. Yeah.
and part of it was your truth. Like you're talking about, like, you have a comedic background and good like comedic
Yeah.
timing, that
Yeah.
like, that was still very authentic to you. Like, would you actually be in a room full of women screaming happy IP when I
Yeah.
laugh? Like,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
not, but
Yeah.
you did find some truth in that, and it felt authentic, and that's what came through, and that's what got you the role. So,
Right.
I mean, I also, you know, can never make any claims that like this is the one thing to do to get you a role, but I will say it does make you memorable. And
Yes.
it's like, okay, this person, like, it's the same thing. It's like this energy that comes through of like, we want to see that you're excited about things, or that
And
you've
trying
taken,
something.
yeah, like
Take
you've
a
taken the
risk.
time, like you give a shit, like, you
Right.
know, like you put thought into this and didn't just do the first thing that came to your mind, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's key. Like, I do have, I don't know, is it a funny story? Is it not? I guess it's a learning lesson.
Well,
But
tell.
yeah, I was casting a comedy pilot, and
Okay.
one of the roles was like this guru at a retreat.
Right.
And so one guy, he sent in his self tape and he did 2 takes. One of them was like normal. And then the other one, he was sitting like cross-legged on the
Right.
floor, and his like balls were hanging out like
Oh, so he showed you
purposefully.
little testicles for his
Yes.
audition.
Yes.
Interesting.
And it was like, it was
Yeah.
shocking, you know? Like I could, like,
Wow. That's
you know, if
bold.
I like bold, yeah, but that's
Yeah.
exactly, like, that's not what we mean by bold, you know? Like,
Right.
I have humor. Like, I am pretty sure I've seen a movie with Mike Myers doing that and I've laughed, you know, but
Right. Right.
it's a bit of a different process in a self tape. So, you
Right.
know, if that's something that you would want to get across, I think you could do it
Right.
like in your slate and be like, hey, you know, I'm cool with nudity. I pictured this guy with a nut hanging out. I think that would be super funny. And like, you could share your idea without actually like sending that to us unsolicited. You
Right.
know,
Oh, that's
I think
funny.
because you could still communicate it and show your humor and show your personality and use the slate for that, but like, do not like make bold choices and show up nude in your tapes.
Great. So everybody, you got that? Don't do nudity unsolicited in your tapes.
Yeah.
That's to be bold. It's a little much, I think.
A little much. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, that's funny. It's a great story.
Yeah. So all to say, but yeah, coming back to bold choices, I know it could be annoying to hear, but like there's not like one specific like, oh, do this. I think your example is great though, like to try and think a bit differently.
Yeah, for one take, And like I
Yeah.
tell the students, they're probably not going to maybe use that. They're probably going to want you to be more invisible, but there's like 25 other people going out for this part. So at least it'll kind of wake them up in the self tape, not
Yeah.
saying I know you guys are very, very focused, but I'm just saying, I think it's kind of fun. And so
Yeah.
do try to have fun and do think differently. And again, not louder. That doesn't mean standing out and not showing your ball sack. Just saying.
Exactly. And just like, yeah, own the scene, like if you
Yeah.
have like, I don't know, if you have like an itch on your eye, like go for it. Like,
Scratch your eye.
scratch your eye, like really envision the environment and atmosphere and like own it and like sink into it.
Right. I think that's great. That's great. Just really follow through with your choices.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Well, thanks, Jess. This was fun. So bold choice, think differently, try to keep your clothes on. Bye, everybody.
Bye.